Who are the 10 greatest players to serve under Liverpool's legendary manager Jurgen Klopp? When Liverpool first hired Jurgen Klopp, he was one of the most in-demand managers of Europe for his brilliant successes under Dortmund. Liverpool fans were excited to have him, but no one expected Klopp to be this good and achieve this kind of success. Liverpool was seen as a once great club that couldn't replicate their past success, but Klopp brought those glory years back to Anfield with 3 Champions League finals, 1 win, 2 losses which both came to Real Madrid where they could have won both games, 1 Premier League title and multiple second place completions in the Premier League, and creating a legendary rivalry against Man City. Jurgen Klopp brought high intensity, high pressing to the league. It forced every other team to change around him. Another one of Klopp's most brilliant attributes is his ability to get the best out of his players, maximize their strengths, and many of these players under Klopp has become icons and legends of Liverpool and Premier League. So here is a list of the 10 greatest players to serve under Jurgen Klopp. Coming in at number 10, it is Dutch international Gini Wijnaldum, the player whose name is impossible to spell. Wijnaldum had 1 brilliant season at Newcastle, but once they got relegated, Liverpool snapped him up for £23 million. He became a vital part of the team and in their midfield. He was an all-rounder that could tackle, press, make the right passes, and score many important goals. He scored goals against the big clubs like Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea, but he really will be known as an icon for his Champions League performances, such as the 2 goals in the second half against Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final. So Wijnaldum comes in at number 10. Moving on, at number 9, we have Brazilian Fabinho. Now, he was brought in with high expectations after a successful time at Monaco. Liverpool bought him for £40 million, and what a signing he was. Fabinho was a world-class defensive midfielder during his peak for Liverpool, and for a 3-year stretch, he was the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League by far. Fabinho was tall, strong, he knew how to intercept the balls, make strong tackles, make the right passes, he was fast and agile. He perfectly complemented Klopp's high-intensity pressing style. When Fabinho joined Liverpool, he made them an elite club, especially in the big games, and they won the Champions League final in his debut season. Fabinho's form fell off a cliff in the later years, and Liverpool themselves haven't been as good since Fabinho left, and they've yet to really replace him properly. So Fabinho comes in at number 9. Moving on, coming in at number 8, it is the player that has made the most appearances for Jurgen Klopp. It is Brazilian striker Robert Firmino. This man played his role perfectly. Firmino is one of the greatest false nines in the Premier League has seen. He linked up play well to bring his wide forwards in. His unselfishness is what allowed them to score many of their goals. He could also contribute with important goals himself. Firmino was a true Brazilian in his playing style with little tricks and flicks. He was also another one of those players that was known for his relentless pressing and not getting tired, which is a common thread that's needed to be a Jurgen Klopp type of player. Firmino set the tone for defending from up front, and his time at Liverpool will never be forgotten. Firmino comes in at number 8. Moving on, at number 7, it is Liverpool's own son, the player who made his debut for Klopp at 18 years old. It is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent is more known for his wonderful right foot. He mastered the art of passing and crossing from a very young age. He's arguably been one of the most influential fullbacks of this generation. Rarely do you find a fullback that's also one of the best passers in the world. Trent is currently only 25 years old, which is the youngest player to be on this list. So technically he hasn't even reached his peak yet, but he's been a loyal servant to Liverpool already. He's probably a bit low on my list, purely due to his defensive capabilities, where many goals have been conceded due to Trent's mistakes. But offensively, he's an amazing player. He has provided 72 assists overall in his career, which is remarkable numbers for a young right back in only 7 seasons. Moving on to number 6, it is Trent's partner in crime, the left back of Klopp's iconic team. It is Scotland's very own Andy Robertson. What I love about Robertson's story is that he wasn't some player with big hype and big money. No, Liverpool purchased him from Hull for only £8 million. So no one really expected him to be this great. But this is where I attribute Klopp's brilliant management. The ability to turn a Hull City player to arguably one of the best left backs in the world is amazing. Robbo was Mr. Reliable for Liverpool. He never or hardly ever put in bad performances. He never made mistakes that led to goals. He was a great defender, and his stamina was amazing. It was out of this world. No one would press at the level of Robbo, even in the 90th minute. And he was also very good at attacking by creating 57 assists in total, which is nearly close to Trent. So that's why I put Robbo above Trent, because he's a better all-round defender, and attacking wise he's still great. Not as good as Trent, but he's still great. Moving on, at number 5, it is Liverpool's Brazilian goalkeeper Alisson. Now, this man was bought in for big money, and he has lived up to his expectations more than they could have imagined. And that's because Alisson has been the best goalkeeper in the Premier League since he joined in 2018. For 5 years he has held that crown. He's the only player on this list that's still pretty much as good as he was when he first joined. Alisson is an amazing goalkeeper. He's a commanding goalkeeper. He's big. He's great with his feet. He makes crucial one-on-one saves. He hardly ever makes mistakes. He's a great leader from the back. He's just been so important to this Liverpool team, and having a world-class keeper is what most dynasty teams need, and Alisson has been that for Liverpool. So moving on, coming in at number 4, it is Jurgen Klopp's first major signing, a signing that signalled a new era for Liverpool's style of attacking. It is Sadio Mane. Mane was an instant hit, showing his power, speed, clinical finishing from the left wing position. Mane was vital in most of Liverpool's successful campaigns. He scored in important games such as the Champions League semi-final and even in the final. He came second in the Ballon d'Or in 2022, and he would have won it if Liverpool won the Champions League that year. And Mane was an amazing, powerful player. He will forever be remembered as a Liverpool icon who was part of one of the greatest attacking trios of all time. Altogether, he scored 120 goals in 269 games, which is amazing stats for a winger. So Mane comes in 4th. Moving on, coming in at number 3, it is Jurgen Klopp's captain, Jordan Henderson. The first man to lift a league title for Liverpool since Alan Hansen over 30 years ago. Henderson thought he might have been moved on and replaced when Klopp became manager. Henderson put his head down and he proved all his doubters wrong, and he truly became a leader and embraced the importance of being a Liverpool captain. His brilliant work rate to defend and attack was vital to Liverpool's success. He was important to Klopp for keeping a high standard within the team and in training. But Henderson isn't just a good leader. He was Liverpool's Premier League Player of the Season when they won the Premier League, which shows how good he is as a technical player as well, making an impact on the pitch as well as being the leader of the squad. Therefore, Captain Henderson comes in at number 3. Moving on, now we reach the top 2. The top 2 is obvious because these two are absolute legends of the Premier League football. Starting off with number 2 is one of the greatest centre-backs, defenders, leaders in Premier League history. It is Netherlands' Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk joined Liverpool as a 27-year-old, so that's a bit of a late start already. But Liverpool brought him for a record-breaking £75 million. Everyone thought that was crazy money to spend. But what a brilliant piece of scouting and the guts to invest that kind of money on a defender, because from the first minute, Van Dijk proved he was a class above everyone else, every other defender in the league. He was tall, big, fast, smart, can play out from the back. There was no weakness in his game. In his first season, Liverpool reached the Champions League final. In his second season, again they reached the Champions League final and winning it this time, with Virgil van Dijk being Liverpool's best player. That season was also one of the greatest single seasons for a defender in over 50 years, since maybe Beckenbauer. He came within 1 point of defeating Lionel Messi for the Ballon d'Or, which was very unlucky because he could have won that Ballon d'Or. His excellent standards continued the following season. He won in the Premier League, and what a player Van Dijk has been for Liverpool and the Premier League. A revolutionary type defender, because once Van Dijk made an impact for Liverpool, every other team were looking for their own version of Van Dijk. City bought Diaz, Man United bought Harry Maguire for £85 million just to counter Van Dijk, just so they can believe that they can get a tall defender, and spent that kind of money because Van Dijk was a success. That's how impactful Van Dijk was, and not since Rio Ferdinand or John Terry that we've had a defender as iconic as Van Dijk. And finally, moving on to the number 1 spot, there can only be one name for the greatest player under Jurgen Klopp. He's also Liverpool's greatest player of the Premier League era, even above Steven Gerrard. It is the Egyptian king, Mohamed Salah. Now, who thought he would be this legendary when he signed as a 25-year-old flop from Chelsea that had to go to Italy to revive his career? Even then, when Liverpool bought him, they thought they were getting a speedy winger. But what they didn't know was they're going to get an absolute goal machine. Salah was so clinical up front. His eye for a goal, his composure, his close dribbling, his agility, his strength to hold defenders up, his big game clutch moments. It was sensational to watch Salah on a week-to-week basis, and we're still watching him. His consistency in scoring goals is amazing. Not only did we watch Salah score high volume goals, breaking records, he also came up clutch in the big moments. He scored in the big games. He never shied away. He's got many goals against Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, and especially Man City. The amount of times he terrorized the best team in the league in Man City, they didn't know what to do with him. Mo Salah didn't just score tappings in these big games. Against the best defenders, he scored sensational goals, volleys, long shots, and he's been an absolute legend. Mo Salah is easily the number 1 on this list. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video.